Well, hello, Unlimited Wisdom family and community. Welcome, Melody, Star, Lisa Marie, CJ, the hostess with the mostest, and we're actually missing Terry today, and maybe Matt will jump on later. Hi, Scott McKinney, great to see you on here, and also Mary. And the subject that I have for today, the last day of June, is one that I think is very, very important because it's like I have a tendency of not only talking about what's going on in my life, but hopefully that helps each and every one of you. Welcome, Deborah Bronner. So the whole concept of next chapter is it's very, very unique for people when they turn a chapter of a book that you just are excited about the next chapter of not only the book, but your entire life. And a lot of people, when they do go to the next chapter, it is pretty hilarious. I do this myself. It's like, yeah, but if I'm going to a new chapter of my life, shouldn't I be doing all these other things that were in the other chapters? And, sometimes that's very, very, very difficult because when we make that decision, there's a lot of stuff I think I've seen a post, and I know that you guys have seen it, but it's like, man, if I spent all this time and all this money and all this effort, and I'm talking time, maybe years, 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 how do you all of a sudden make a decision to just go on with the rest of your life? And for me, if you guys know any of my personal story, it's like all of a sudden, a blink of an eye, I feel excruciating pain. It's like I all of a sudden feel like I'm blacking out. I know that I'm in shock because I've been hurt before, and they're calling the ambulance and they're taking me to the ER because this van landed on my knee and just took my knee out. You know what I mean? And it's like, you gather all your stuff and you're in this pain. You're going like, what's going on? And all of a sudden, I know that I've shared this with you guys, but I get on the operating table and I'm still wearing my Toyota uniform, my Toyota Auto Mechanics uniform. Hi, Sarah, Dustin. Thank you guys for jumping on. And as soon as the person looks at me, he goes, "Oh, are you a mechanic?" While he's examining my knee inside my pants, right? And he moves his hands around. He goes, "Oh my God." He says, "It's like his pants is like a tourniquet on his knee right now." So, he goes, there's a lot of internal bleeding. He says, "We'll probably need to go into surgery right away after, the x-ray." And then he looks at me and says, "How you doing, sir?" Hi, Sarah. And so all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, he looks at me and he goes, "Oh, are you an auto mechanic?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Not anymore." I still am blown away when he said that. You know what I mean? And I remember like, what? And he's going, "Man," he says, "if you'll be able to stand up or put any weight on this leg," he goes, "you'll be really, really lucky." And he kept doing that awful bedside manner stuff where, hi, Deborah Grady, is he said, "Do you have any children?" I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, being able to play catch with them is it going to be fun for you?" I'm like, I can't believe that this guy was saying this. But after the X-rays came back, I did have to immediately go into surgery, and I had to have like two different knee operations, and but in an instantaneous moment of my life, like I shared with each and every one of you, um, it's like a total loss of my identity. I mean, total loss of my identity. And it was like that is a difficult thing when that happens. And I started out this for you guys that just jumped on. Hi, Shelly. is like, what do you do when you're really faced with the next chapter of your life? You know, and so for me, I always look at things that are awful, and then sometimes later in life you look at them as like a blessing. You know what I mean? Because how would I move into the next chapter of my life if I still was a mechanic? And let me give you guys a neat example. I've literally, no exaggeration, have met millions, plural, millions of people personally in my career. Millions. And when they make a decision that they look at their life, they look at everything. So I always tell, like my mentor told me, take inventory of your life, right? Write down everything, take sort of inventory of everything. And then you sort of ask yourself, man, could I do better in all these areas of my life? Could I be a better person? Could I be more loving? Could I be more kind? Could I be healthier? Could I generate more revenue? Could I have more free time? The word that keeps coming back to me over and over and over is I still look at myself more now as a servant than I look at myself as even a husband, even a father or a grandfather, is the servant part, because it's so drilled in my mind and in my spirit and my heart that, well done, good and faithful servant. It's just something that I know that is very, very important for me, and it works very good for me. But my whole point is that I couldn't have jumped in the way that I did, being obsessive of learning a new way to be and a new way to become, if I was hanging on to the old chapter. So it was always these people that I would meet that hated their job. They hated their life. They hated, how little time they got to spend doing the things that they love with the people that they love the most. When you asked them to do inventory of their life, they were just like, it was like, they were very, very sad. They were very upset. They were very depressed when they looked at their entire life as far as inventory. But then when I shared with them something that they could do to change that, it's like they always would say that they're too busy, that they already have their schedule full of what their last chapter was that they haven't completed yet. Does that make sense to anyone? And it's like, oh, I already got a job, and I know that I'm not making enough money, but I gotta get up at this time, and I got this traveling back and forth to work, this commute, and I got this, and I got bowling, and and I do this on the weekends, and it's like there just isn't any room in their life to start a new chapter, even though they just did inventory of their life and told you they were not happy with any of it. How many of you people know people like this? And some of you watching this live or recorded may be that person, right? And so when all of a sudden you're deciding to jump in and create a new chapter of your life, I know that it takes a decision, but more than a decision, it really, really is about looking at your life and the amount of time that you're spending doing stuff that really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's like when I shared with a lot of you, I do this probably at least once a year, that it wasn't hard the first time, but it keeps getting easier and easier when I can take inventory of everything that's feeding into my life or not feeding in my life, and just immediately just drop stuff. Just like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. And some of you, like Melody and Craig, have been around me for so long, you've watched me do this. I'll just one day go, well, I was doing this, but I'm not doing that anymore. And it's like, I think that some people get like shook, going, holy wow, what's going on? And it's like, it's just not serving me anymore. And so what I think is unique about talking about this, on this day, the last day of June, is July was my first year in unlimited wisdom. So I'm looking at all the green marks of, doing at least 10 things, right? And to look at that now and just go, wow, you can, I never even thought about it. Probably take me a second to pull that up. I think you guys would get a kick out of it. But it's stuff like this that you get to measure. I know that you guys have probably heard me say this many, many, many times. But you can't change or get better results unless you're measuring what you're currently doing. All right? So now when you look at this, and it's like down here, the day that I paid was July 24th. But look at this week. Look at this week in July 7th to July 13th. It's like I'm like, but if I scroll this over a little bit, oh, it won't let me. I think the first time that I looked at school was yesterday. So right here, I'm contemplating to consider to figure out how many of you sometimes go through a lot of, I got to contemplate. I don't know. Yes, no, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. And then right here, you see July 16th, I went in there, created a free trial, did like 14 little things, right? And July 17th and then July 20, right in 24th, right in here is when, I decided to purchase it and go to work. So now that it's come up on a year, I'm like really, really thinking to myself, okay, so what am I going to do with unlimited wisdom? And my decision is the original idea of unlimited wisdom is what it needs to turn out to be. Whether I think that Matt may create unlimited wisdom out of the school platform, you know what I mean? I don't know that yet, but I know he's doing a bunch of other things, and you guys know what Matt's doing right now. Sarah, by the way, you on the skateboard, man, that's one of the best videos I think I've ever seen. I just loved it. I just loved it. But what I really need, did you hear me change my words? I was gonna say what I want, and then I said what I need. What I really need unlimited wisdom to be is simply this one thing, is for me to serve those that have ears to hear. For me to serve those that have ears to hear. So what you're going to see me do effective tomorrow is I've said I'm going to do this many, many, many times. But I find reasons not to do it because it's a big commitment. But I'm just going to start going live on all the social medias, doing live videos. And those live videos are going to be to promote unlimited wisdom. Now, I know the other things that we do that we all love are part of unlimited wisdom, but I really need to get to those that have ears to hear. When I always, mentally, you guys have heard me on Master's Mind, when it's funny that some of us can ask the universe or ask God to, what do I need to do? And it's pretty interesting because it's like asking God to forgive you. It's like, I already did that. I don't know why you keep bringing it up. Can you please forgive me for all the bad stuff I did? Yeah, that's why I sent my son. I wish you'd stop bringing it up. You've already been forgiven. What are you waiting for? You know what I mean? It's like, well, I just want to know what to do. You know what I mean? Can you give me direction? Can you guide me? Can you give me direction? I already have. I need you each and every day to spend as much time as you can with me. And then I need you to go out and serve other people and let them know how much I love them. how much they're okay. Yeah, but what do you really need me to do? And I think you guys, some of you that have a close relationship, is like sometimes people tell you what to do. And I think it's pretty interesting when you look at entrepreneurship, you look at nonprofit organization, you look at churches, when you look at everything in the world, you know what the key thing is? Speaking to those that have ears to hear. It's like if you were going to build a new political party today, what would they say that you would need to do? Is you need to get ground roots, and then you would have to be speaking the message. God bless you, Deborah. You'd have to share your policies and what you believe your thing is all about. And one time I did this, and this was before the current president, is years ago when I was with another company. I believe that's when uh, um, um, Obama won his first year. But I actually, again, not making it political, but I think I went on the internet, internet being pretty new, and I looked up how many times Obama spoke in front of a group of people. And it was numerous times a day. Every single day, you go from here and you do the message, and here and do the message, and here and do the message, and here to do the message. And I was telling people, you're trying to build a group of satisfied followers or satisfied customers, but are you guys doing as many presentations as Obama's doing every day? It is like people live, you sharing the message. And we live at a pretty credible time now because, people can do a podcast and find, virtually millions of people get to see the message. You know what I'm talking about? But it's like you got to get what you believe that you can serve others with. You got to get that message to the masses, to as many people as you can, as fast as you can. So I just wanted to share with you guys that it is funny because I think tomorrow what I'll do is, instead of next chapter, tomorrow what I'll just do is talk about the bigger vision of what unlimited wisdom is going to do for other people, right? And so I'm really going to share that message. I'm going to pray about. I think I'm going to come out with a different level, and it's going to be like a 990, 995 level, that would do some of the, because I still know for me to do what I want to do for charity, that I'm still giving away too much for free. So what we're going to do is I'm going to look at the 7 days, and when people get in, they'll get a few days for free plus all the stuff, but then they'll have to, go to $10 or $9.95 a month to hit another group, and then the other people, then they get we'll add the other things in for the 49, right? But understand this, all the people that are part of the family, that has always been a part of the family, that are paying members, you're not going to lose anything. It's just me doing more inside of Unlimited Wisdom, right? Because you guys are family members. And then, I'm really going to push myself this year to do more personal training. You know what I mean? So we've done a whole year of group training, but I'm going to make a lot of offers for people that want to do one-on-one training with me. And again, I just think that's going to be really, really, really cool. So I just wanted to share with you guys, it is amazing that from the second that we started Unlimited Wisdom, almost a year ago, I think it would, I think if some of you, I don't know if it can show where when you started. I never even thought about that. But some of the people that are on here, of course, I don't know if it shows, like Craig, when you started.
It does actually. It says joined July 24, 2025.
July 24th?
Yeah. And it wasn't so far after you that I got on board. I think if you look on your profile in Unlimited Wisdom, Robert, you'll see the joined date. That's how I was able to find mine.
Okay. So some of you look at your dates. It would be really interesting if some of you got in before the 24th.
But
Um,
the as far as the activity, because you were bringing that up earlier, the activity goes back 1 year from whatever today is. So
oh, does it?
yeah, it always changes, but it goes back. If you put your cursor, um, yeah, it's from what my
Yeah,
understanding is, it's only
I
one
was
year.
thinking, I was trying to think who I could possibly have that would get in faster than Matthew. And no one came up. So July 24th, again, I'm just looking at the month of July. So tomorrow I want to be able to share with you guys the new vision of a limited wisdom, what I plan on doing with it. And I don't want, I need unlimited wisdom to have 1 million members. Okay, I don't know if there's anybody in school that has 1 million members, but if I can get 1 million views and I can get a million subscribers, if I can build teams of 758,000, that's what I'm going to do for the year moving forward. And so, going back to the subject, just so you guys know, I want you to really think about this. When you're feeling like you're doing a next chapter of your life, for me, I do it almost like it, I feel like sometimes I do it on a monthly basis. And again, what's a big thing for tomorrow? A big thing for tomorrow is, oh, now 6 months is gone. The first half of the year is gone. And I always think that, 4th of July has always been something special for me because I've always called it Financial Freedom Day, to be financially free. But that's what I want to drill down with you guys before I leave you here today is just know that there's going to be a lot of positive changes with unlimited wisdom. I've thought of you and as my family. You guys don't have to worry about anything. You guys are help me build it up to this time, so we'll make sure that you guys are all part of whatever we're doing. And we'll just continue to give more, do more, and do inventory on it. And that's my goal. And I want to do an open invitation to any one of you. It's if you guys got any ideas of how you believe that unlimited wisdom, as us as a community and us as a family, can serve people better, and that would be including looking at some stuff that we have in the back office and going, that doesn't need to be there anymore. You know what I mean? Because I do want it to be very, very generic moving forward, right? So there are some tabs in there that I thought, well, I better announce this to everyone before I do this because my son, if you talk to my son, and then Melody and Craig would know this as well. It's like when I make a decision to turn a new chapter of a book, I'll go through it, and I've actually deleted like 6,000 videos. And my son would be going like, why did you delete all those videos? And I'm going, because I need to create new ones. I just need to create new ones because I feel like sometimes now I'm not going to do that with unlimited wisdom. I'm gonna keep them in there just so people can see how we're growing. But one of the classes that I erased immediately that I know is not going to be something moving forward is AI upline, right? So all I need to say to you guys that unfortunately the person that Matt got in business with is not paying him. So we don't know what's going on with that, but we can have someone that won't pay us for whatever we're doing. So it's sad. I don't know what's going on, and I've tried to reach out, and he hasn't responded to me as well, and so I don't know what's going on. I just have to pray for him and next chapter. Next chapter. But as we move forward too, I want each and every one of you to know that my whole goal is to make sure that you guys get what you want out of life, right? So as we're moving forward, always reach out to me. I know a lot of you sometimes I talk to at least on a weekly basis on social media, but if you need to reach out to me on anything, I really, really want from tomorrow moving forward, I want your last 6 months of this year to be some of the best 6 months ever. And so I'm going to go into that mindset tomorrow, basically talking about what is the very first thing that you need to do. And I don't even mind teasing you guys on the video tomorrow. When I constantly think about the next chapter of my life, guess what is the very first thing that I know comes to me? Who am I listening to? And what am I spent? What environment am I in? Right? So it was funny. Terry and I was watching a movie last night, and this guy was just so perplexed. You could tell that his life was just falling apart. And the guy, he didn't even know the guy. And he goes, I can help you. He goes, how can you help me? And he says, well, listen, my dad gave me 2 rules that I've run my whole life by, and they work every time. And he said, so let me ask you a simple question. Who right now is your hero? If it's not your hero, who do you look up to? Who is someone right now that you admire? And he goes, I don't know. He goes, do you see that might be a problem? He goes, I never thought about that. He said, now go back to a date in your life where everything was going awesome. Just go back to a date in your life when everything was going awesome. And he goes, I know exactly when it was. He says, it's when I graduated from college and got my first job. He goes, who was your hero or the person that you admired then? And he goes, my oldest brother. My oldest brother. And he goes, why? And he said, well, he got out of school and he got this great big job on Wall Street. And he was just making bank. So I wanted to do as good as him. He goes, so now in the situation that you're in now, I don't know why you guys are not close, but what would your brother do in this situation? And he got a big smile on his face and he had a couple of drinks and he goes, I know exactly what my frickin' brother would do right now. And he goes, isn't that interesting? You don't know what you would do, but you know what your hero would do. You know who the person, so there's people out there that always, are walking around the world going, what would Jesus do? You know what I mean? It's a neat little thing to go, that's very interesting. And then he said, I'm going to say something else to you, and I know that it's going to throw you back in your seat. But before you decided to follow your brother's lead, because your brother started accomplishing things, and you said, if he can do it, I can do it. He says, when you were younger in life, there was something that you were really, really, really afraid of. Really afraid of. And he goes, that's what's holding you back right now. What were you afraid of when you were young? And he said, not being anybody, not being anything, not making a difference. He goes, it wasn't a fear anymore when you started chasing your brother's success. So when's the last time that you talked to your brother? And he said, we sort of had a falling out. And he goes, can I ask why? And he said, I went from being a prosecuting lawyer to opening up my own criminal defense law. And he said, I sat down with my brother and I said, how's everything going? And he said, I just need to be brutally honest with you. You making a bunch of money by getting bad guys off? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm really disappointed in you. And he goes, and I guess there was some big case where he just got some guy off that, that everyone knew that he did it. And he got the guy off for some kind of technicality. You know what I mean? And he says, I just told my brother F you and we went our separate ways. He goes, well, how's your brother doing? And he goes, I keep track on him. He's still crushing it. He does all this stuff for community. His wife and his kids just love him. He's always it's like, wow, so the person that got you to where you are is still doing the same stuff. And he goes, he is. And he's going, maybe you should find something else to do. Wouldn't you like your brother to be proud of you again? And he just went, man, that's some incredible wisdom from a stranger. He goes, right now, I guarantee you got the same fear as you have before, that you're not making a difference. You're not doing the stuff you feel you need to do. You're not proud of who you are because you just lost your way. You just lost your way. What's cool about life is you can go back, do inventory, flip another chapter, figure out the things you need to be listening to and the people that you should be following, and just go back to the path that got you to the top before. And so I'll be talking about that path tomorrow. So I love you guys. I'm excited to talk about the next chapter of where we're going. And I'd love each and every one of you to go along for the ride. I know we got millions of people to take care of and to change their lives. And I'd love you to be a part of it. So I'm proud of you and I'll love you and I'll see you tomorrow. So thank you, Shelly, Dustin, Mary, Scott, Melody, Star, Lisa Marie, Deborah Bronner, Coach Bob, Deborah, Grady, and the hostess with the mostest, C-Day, Craig Jackman. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.